You are now watching Rhythm and Muse podcast with your host, singer songwriter Monique Wilson. This show is all about displaying the talents of up and coming music artists, local and worldwide, giving them a chance to talk about their new projects, their music journey, and so much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Rhythm and Muse podcast.
There we go. Y'all can tell me what the intro was not hard. Anyways, hey everyone, you're back with episode 3 of Rhythm and Muse with yours truly, Monique Wilson. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for being here and tuning in, even though it has been a really stressful week for all of us. But we made it to the end of the week. You get what I'm saying? If you haven't watched the 2 episodes before, you need to go check that out now. I'm watching you. If you didn't, I know who you are. But today, or tonight actually, if I should say, we have another indie artist from Baltimore. He is amazing. His music is good. His vibe is amazing and stuff like that. Everyone, please give it up for Real AF. Woo! How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is an honor to be here. I love doing podcasts. I love doing interviews and podcasts. So this
So
is awesome.
good. Is this your first time doing a podcast or you've done this before?
This is my second time doing a podcast, and then I've hosted some shows like GFM. That's like a more Zoom call filled with people and artists
Okay.
that come in and they just share their music, share their art, share their creativity, and I've hosted that a few times. So, yeah.
Okay. You pop it for real. All right, well, let's get into it. So, what does your name mean? What does your name mean?
So, Real AF is Real Andre Fanning. That's my real name, and then I have Real as fuck. So it's like a double entendre. So, I just kind of use a rap generator, honestly, rap name generator, and it came out with that, and I was like, like it's better than Drizzy, which was like the original rap name, and that was
Yeah.
like so overpopulated and filled with other artists. So, I wanted something else, something different, something unique.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So when it comes down to your music, who has inspired you? Because everyone has an inspiration. Who has inspired you to do your music?
In terms of other artists or just anybody.
Just in general, friends, family. It could be other artists.
So the first person I would mention is my band teacher, LeBron Land. Um, he was supposed to be tuning into this, but he's driving right now.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, we gonna
he's
save him
an
a spot.
yeah, he's a nice guy. And he taught me a lot. I went to Glenelg Country School, a private school, and I went there to play basketball, and I was also in band. And I really didn't, you know, cherish band as much as I really wanted to until I got there my junior and senior year of high school. And so whenever I got there and I was playing the violin in their orchestra there, he
Okay,
just
so
he showed me a lot of different things.
okay.
Yeah.
So I guess he's like your main inspiration for everything that you do now and stuff like that as well.
Um, to a certain degree, yeah. Like he helped me out and he showed me the path to like making music outside of just classical and orchestral and like music, you know. And he kind of showed
Yeah.
me all of my DAWs and work like that, stuff like that. So now I kind of like utilize all the tools that he gave me. And in terms of like musical inspiration, I started out with like Sam Cooke growing up. That was like the first artist I could
Oh,
remember uh,
cool.
hearing growing up. And then, that soul and R&B, we lived in a Christian household. And so, they played a lot of soul gospel music type of deal. And then I kind of got into I lived in Oklahoma, so I listened to some country music. I listened to some alternative music. I listened to some rap music, and my brothers put me onto the rap music, my older brothers. And that's how I kind of got into this and trailed off a little bit later on.
Okay, so what music genre are you mostly into now?
I'm still into rap music a lot. I listen to a lot of rap music. One of my favorite artists is Drake, and Juice World, and you know some of those younger artists that are upcoming now. And
Hmm.
then for other genres that I really listen to a lot, I listen to a lot of like alternative indie rock music. So like Cage the Elephants, and Panic at the Disco and Paramore and
I love
you know,
Panic at the Disco.
yeah.
Panic at
So
the Disco. They that drill. So even though we're in like a worldwide pandemic right now, and it's very, very, very stressful for all of us, but as an artist, how do you claim or how do you try to keep yourself relevant in the music world?
it's a lot, there's a lot of things that you can do, and I've learned so much over the past year or so. Like I started recording music about a year ago, like seriously recording and going to a studio and then picking up my own mic and stuff like that. And from that point, I found out that, you can utilize social media so much to your advantage.
Mhm.
From, like YouTube ads and promotion and Instagram, using that platform to kind of like get out there. And I've met so many different people through that. I met GFM where I went in there and hosted, and I still go there pretty frequently. They're actually doing something tonight. And, I go in there and share my music, and I've connected with other artists that way. I've gotten features that way. I've, went and started working with a local business in the area actually to do a music festival and set up a music festival to have some local artists come in and perform some songs, and also having some visual art aspects to it as well. So we'll have some painters, photographers, things like that.
Oh
So
wow, you seem to be really doing it like in this pandemic. You seem to be really like doing a lot out there. Okay, so I take it that you've been taken seriously after high school, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, so I played the violin since I was in the fourth grade, and I've
Hmm.
always had a musical, you know, I guess ear to a certain degree, and I always loved music, and I didn't really start doing my own music until, yeah, probably around my senior year. I did this little performance at my high school, and I did "From Time" by Drake and Janae Aiko. Um,
That's my song. That's my
and
song.
that was the first time that I like performed in front of a crowd, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this, you know. And then after that, I got to college, and I just started renting out like a little Yeti mic from the library and recording on my phone and doing demos. And then I met my
Oh
current
wow.
girlfriend, and she was like,
Oh.
you're really good at what you do, but like your sound is bad. Like you just don't sound that great. And she was just brutally honest. And so I went to a studio. She told me to go to a studio, and that's how it all kind of came together. And I was like, yeah, she was right. I got a lot better over, a very short period of time just from going and learning from people that really do it. So
Wow. Well, we kind of need brutally honest people, not live and stuff like that. So It's really cool that you playing the violin. Did you like the violin? Because I play the piano, but like, do you like the violin,
I
or
do
would you
like the
want to
violin.
change it?
I do like the violin.
Nice,
So I
nice.
think it's one of those instruments, it's like it's a monophonic instrument or whatever. So you only have like you don't really play too many chords, and once you
Yeah.
learn the notes on, your fingerboard, and it's really just about finger memorization. It's a really fun instrument to play. It's a tad bit harder than a lot of other instruments because there's no frets or keys or anything like that for you to put your fingers down on. But once you get the hang of it, it's fun. I
Uh,
enjoyed it.
honestly, I can only imagine. So, I'm like all over the place. But in what college do you go to? I'm sorry for.
I don't go to college anymore, sadly.
Okay, okay,
But I like to. So I went to George Mason University for a year, and then after
nice.
that, I took a gap year and I started doing some work at the mall. And then after that, I kind of just my parents were like, "All right, like see you, bye," and they went to Dallas. And so after that, I just started working and doing you know work out here, and I just try and keep my head up. And I live in my own apartment out here with my girlfriend, and we enjoy our time. So you
Yes.
know,
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that. That's like amazing. Off question, how long have y'all been together for? I'm gonna know.
a
How long y'all been together?
year and a month, 2 months now, 2 months. Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So diving into your album while we're here, what made you name it that? Because that's like a real nice name. What made you name it that?
It was while we're here was a title that I kind of sat back and I had made the first title track song, and I was like, like it's one of those things that we watch so many artists that are here right now, and like they may not be here the next day, regardless of whatever it may be. It may not be death. It may just be they fell off or whatever the case is. And I kind of wanted to just leave a lasting impact with just a first project, and title it something that makes you feel like while I'm here listening to this project, it's going to be like a good time. It could be whatever, whatever you want it to be. So I wanted it to be something that was stick in somebody's head. And it was something that I just kind of came up with, like I said, after the first title track and just kind of referring back to my life, you know.
Okay. Did anyone help you with the title, or this is just like, boom, while we're here, that's what I want to name it?
So I had a working list of titles. So
Mm-hmm.
I probably still had that list. This is probably deep in my notes, but it was probably about 10 different titles, and some of them were from uh, generators. Some of them were just like suggestions from like songs that I've already written and people have heard and demos and things like that. And then it was me and Isla, my girlfriend. We were just sitting here talking, and we came up with another few of them. And I sat back and I was like, "All right, if we had to vote on all of these names, which one's going first? Which one's going second? Which one's going third?" And then we kind of came down to the last few, and I was like, it would be nice because that's like already a song. Why not just name it you know, the
Yeah.
same as the album? And this song kind of describes the beginning and the ending. It's like a full cycle of the album, you know.
Right. So it was like a process of elimination type of thing going on.
Yeah, and it was like I said, it was kind of it was a perfect way to describe the way that the album turned. I looked into great albums. They have pace and flow, you know, and like when you
Nice.
listen to a good album, sometimes it goes up and it goes down. It's like a book or a movie. You have a rising action, a climax, and a falling action, and it ends beginning. So I kind of found that I was like, like how do I want to establish myself in the first album that I ever do, in like a studio album? And that
Okay.
was kind of, the set point was family life, things like that, and then it kind of just went up the roller coaster. Kind of talked about everything down a roller coaster and came right back up. To kind of like finish it all out and still kind of end on that same topic of like in my head and while we're here.
So would you say that this album is most likely about your life in a sense, or
Yeah,
people surrounded by your life?
yeah, people surrounded by my life. There's different inspirations for every single song. Like North Carolina, for example, whenever I heard that beat in the hook from Rob, who produced the track, I immediately turned to the TV show that I was watching, which was The Outer Banks on Netflix. And it's a very wild TV show. And I immediately said, "Oh, North Carolina," he says it in the song. let me like let me see if I could be a great lyricist and try and tie in some of this TV show with the song. In my life as well, you know, what I kind of took from the TV show. So that's like one of the inspirations, just like different things that kind of all came together into one project. And I kind of just sat back and looked and really tried to pick out songs, you know, and say like, hey, this is the best song that I have from this studio session. This is the best one I have from this studio session. How can I make this song fit more cohesively in terms of the project? Things like that.
Okay, nice. So before we get into more questions, we actually gonna listen to your song, North Carolina, just in case no one else heard it. I personally love this song, so you guys tune in right now.
Rob, why'd you do that?
Helpless around you, she got me tied up. Running circles around you, that's some shit that I'm tired of. I've been watching pieces fall in place, you know I'm hoping they line up. She left me in pieces trying to catch a wave, we ain't in North Carolina.
Hot tie, yeah, she ride that way. She got the eyes of hurricanes. Hinting off the Outer Banks. She living for the thrill. Okay, she smart, she knows just what to say. I start to lose track of the days. I'm acting like I know the way. I'm hoping that it's just a phase. She loving my leaves, smoking the free as Louise. Blueberry all of my trees. We hop in the whip, we don't need a key. Step on the gas, I hope that I don't fall asleep. The water is up to my knees. It's getting too deep, but you know that I'm playing for keeps. She leaving it all up to me. I know that I'll get all the love, but it won't be for free. When will she see that I'm gonna be who I wanted to be? Driving like Tigers, playing to a T. She hit up my phone when she's headed to sea. I'm keeping it low, trying to make it unseen. She caught up inside and I'm stuck in between. She's smoking the dope and I'm sipping the lean, while chasing the green and it's like a routine. Run through the deep and the waves are serene. I'm hoping that I can just change up the scene. You know what I mean? I just love getting the money, but I gotta make that shit clean. She got the jokes, playing shit like she Joaquin. She only show love when it's over a screen. Her heart is so cold and it's like a machine. She left me in pieces, it's all in her jeans.
Helpless around you, she got me tied up. Running circles around you, that's some shit that I'm tired of. I've been watching pieces fall in place, you know I'm hoping they line up. She left me in pieces trying to catch a wave, we ain't in North Carolina.
Let bygones just be bygones. Can you catch the wave that I'm on? It's been crazy thinking lately how we been up on a daily. Live like rock stars, call me baby. Live like pop stars, call me maybe. Ain't no telling what you may see, so don't test me and don't play me. Woods be burning, hella brazy. Got my vision going hazy, and these people acting shaky. Got a 30, that's for safety, like I'm Curry. Swap the Dell out for a Mac in a hurry. Make them worry, sip too much, now my vision getting blurry. The circle just got a little tighter. She living the life of a rider. I'm feeling just like an outsider. Feeling the pain through the wire. It's hot and I'm feeling the fire. Guess that I'm just getting higher, but don't get it twisted. You know I'm a grinder. You know that I'm standing beside you. I know the rush you desire. I just hope that I can find you. I'm headed down south to hit you in North Carolina. So please hit my phone when you get to the driver. And lights got a timer. I know that you might just be worried, but there is no final decider. No time for advice. I know that it's hard to decipher, but I'm on a mission just like a MacGyver. So roll me up one and then pass me a lighter. All of these circles just got me real tight up.
Helpless around you, she got me tied up. Running circles around you, that's some shit that I'm tired of. I've been watching pieces fall in place, you know I'm hoping they line up. She left me in pieces trying to catch a wave, we ain't in North Carolina. Helpless around you, she got me tied up. Running circles around you, that's some shit that I'm tired of. I've been watching pieces fall in place, you know I'm hoping they line up. She left me in pieces trying to catch a wave, we ain't in North Carolina.
I like it. Yes, that song bumps. I like that song. That song is amazing.
Is
I like it.
is my mic a little bit better?
Yes, your mic is good.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
You got a question from Ernest Harris. He asked you who did the singing on the track.
Mac 10 did the singing on the track. Mac
That
10
wasn't
was a
you.
person who did it. No, it wasn't me actually. I don't do too much singing myself. I do a little bit here and there, but Mac 10 did that, and we actually Rob Silver, the dude who shot the music video for it. He was one who got Mac 10 on a hook, and it was one of them songs that was just sitting in everybody's catalog and nobody used it, and I found it, and I said, Rob, like, can I get that? Uh, you know,
That
and he
was
was like, yeah.
good.
So
He could fool me. I thought that was you singing. I was like, okay, all right, all right. But I loved it. The song was amazing. The people seemed to love it as well. Javoy Phillips said the song was songing. That means that the song was really good, by the way.
thank you.
So going back to your album, what are your top 3 songs on the album that you like? Sorry.
My top 3 songs is gotta be. Let me see here. I'm gonna go with. I always say different songs every time, and it's not intentional. In my head is one of my favorite ones, and that's featuring Jo Music, and that was one of them songs that I just found on YouTube, and I was like, oh, like I need this, and then I had one of my buddies who does a lot of production add in a whole bunch of orchestral instruments in the background, from like double saxes and violins, all of that. And then another song, second favorite song would probably be, I'd have to say North Carolina just because of the video, and it was so much fun just working on that song for Rob and really working on like rhyme schemes and patterns and things like that.
Mhm.
And then the third one, it's gotta be between Jamla and Drown, and I'm gonna probably say Drown just because Isla is on that song and she doesn't do any music at all. But I kind of forced her into a studio and was like, "Do something for me," and she was like, "Okay." And so she sang over the back of the hook and she sang over the end of my verse to kind of give it like a female dub. Um, so it was nice. It sounded like a little Halsey track, featuring all of
That's
you.
That's amazing. I love that. Your girlfriend was on the track. It was a lot. So, according to your second song with a lot of instruments that you named, do you prefer live music more or do you just prefer music that's on like the different software apps? I hope I'm saying that correctly.
I think there's some about I enjoy live music more. There's some about being in a room with an actual guitar that's like amped out and it gives you the chills whenever you're at an actual concert, or when you play an actual instrument and you go up there to perform and the stage goes dark, and you don't see anybody else out there. They can only see you. It's like a one-way mirror to a certain degree. It's just there's some about being in that space and having it like that is different than working in a DAW. And I like working in DAWs, but it's something that a live instrument has that no other instrument, can compare to.
I dig that. And I actually agree with that. I love that. So, when you go to concerts, I don't know if you go to concerts or not, but if you did, what's your favorite part of the concert?
Ooh, I've been to a few concerts and I've done a couple of my own, one in person and one in Zoom. Um, and I think the best part of a concert, at least for me, is the transitions. I saw Juice World live on his second tour.
Wow.
His first and the second tour, but the second tour was amazing because it was obviously the last one, but it was so well staged and put together in terms of sets and screens. And when it was getting too hot in there, he did an intro or interlude, excuse me, and he pulled it through in the middle, and it was Demons with Brent Faiyaz, and that was just like beautiful because it was like soothing and everybody just chilled out for like 1 second, and then we were right back to it. So it was fun and just like feeling the waves of, a concert, and everybody kind of gets the same energy in a room, you know. I think that's the coolest part of a concert.
It is. I want to be like you and go to a concert like that. So, how did you manage to do a Zoom concert? How did that come about?
So this was one of my first. ever times doing like a Zoom event, and it was just after COVID, and it was for New Year's Eve event. I said just after COVID. It was quite a few months down the road, 9 months. But it was an event hosted by Nostalgia Records, which is a cool little record label out here, starting record label out here in Baltimore.
Nice.
And they asked me to come in and do a set like that, and it was interesting because I didn't have a mic back then. I didn't have the computer and stuff, all of that, to do all of this extra work to make it sound great. So I just had to play the song in the background and then just rap, and just give my best performance. And, like I watched a Travis Scott documentary at one point, and he performed in front of like 10 people, and he still gave it his all, no matter how many people in the room watching you. Sometimes not even sometimes, all the time, give it your best energy. So that's kind of how I just took it, no matter what the situation is. If somebody's asking me to do something, perform, whatever the case is, just go out there and give it your all.
But did you get good feedback on the Zoom performance?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope they enjoyed it. I had a lot of people in there, from my friends and stuff like that, and it was nice to just meet other artists for one. And there was another person that, it's funny how life works. You kind of reel back and circle back. Kid was at the first concert that I ever performed at in person. Didn't speak to him ever again, and then 2 years down the road, next thing I know, here he is back in the same, concert with me, just kind of like a crazy reconnect type of thing. So I hope everybody had a good time. I think most people did. So
I hope they did too. I bet they did, because your energy, I really do like your energy. Your energy is amazing from what I can see. So when you perform live, what do you like most about performing live, and is it kind of better than being virtual?
Being live, I like performing live because I kind of grew up in that environment of, just people watching, I guess. I wouldn't say like I am like famous or nothing, but like, like I played basketball and we had coaches scouting and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you feel the energy in the room, put it like that. And you can always kind of like gauge people's energy, versus it's kind of hard on Zoom. People had their cameras off. Some people just not in their head or not even paying attention. They're not even at the camera, whatever the case is. And if you all in one room and everybody is quiet, then kind of like how it is. If the song isn't meant to be quiet and everybody kind of quiet and you just looking around and nobody really moving with you, you can kind of like feel how much you need to like pick it up. And then if you're already at that level of like everybody's on, up and down with you, how can you keep that energy up? I feel like it's a little bit easier to just like interact with people face to face than it is, on Zoom, because nobody's screaming at you. You can't hear people being like, yo, this is hype. You're like, bro, this is hype too, So
Yes. All right, I get it. And that's very, very, very true. So before the pandemic, what were your top 3 favorite venues that you have performed at?
I did one. I've only done 2 performances outside of, so I did one in person, my one venue in person, and that was at somebody's house. It was just at somebody's house. And there was maybe 25, maybe 30 people there. And it was downstairs in the basement. And it was packed. It was a decent sized room, When people came in from the outside, it started feeling a little bit more like tight. And then that was one of the venues. And then, of course, I love performing in my own apartment. Some about I do enjoy Zoom. Like, it's not that bad. And I enjoy being here and kind of just being in my own space with all my pets and stuff like that. So I haven't performed too many other places. I hope I get to. Maybe I'll do something at this next festival that I'm hosting over here at the local store.
Okay. Well, what is your dream performance? There we go.
Dream performance. If I could perform anywhere, I'd probably say MSG, Madison Square Garden. I always wanted to play there for basketball. I always wanted to, just do something in there. I've never been to MSG, so I would love to go to Madison Square Garden in New York. And then Staples Center in Los Angeles. I've never been to Los Angeles either. So, I've been to New York. I just haven't been to MSG, and I've never been to Los Angeles, so that would be amazing. And then probably anywhere overseas. I don't know too many venues overseas, but if I had to do a local one, I would probably say the 930 Club in DC.
Oh, the nothing. I never heard of that.
It's a
Okay,
very
okay.
small venue out there, and it's just like it's an interesting little place to be in. And it's like if I could get a first venue booking, 930 Club. If you ever get to watch this, I'm asking now. I would love to perform there. So
Y'all heard him. 930 Club. He wants you. Y'all got to get him because he really dope. So for your second song off the album that I really like is Cali Smoking, and I think everyone should hear that song too. So before we move on to the next set of questions, we're gonna listen to that song right now as well.
Eternal.
Yeah. Soul shit, nigga singing Sam Cooke. Soul food, nigga, I'm a whole cook. Soul train, nigga, made the crowd jug. There's a real thin line like a whole crook. Pay attention to the signs, never overlook. Had to teach a whole 9 with a textbook. All my niggas let the grind like they Westbrook. And we smoke Kelly Pine, got my bread up in the line. Yeah, the money's on my mind, started passing on the dimes. It's a jungle out here while I'm trekking through the vines. And I'm always getting mine when I'm moving through the grime. Got some jet lag, baby, but I'll travel through the time. And I'm sipping on the red like I'm sipping on some wine. And I'm bashing all the demons that'll have me in a bind. Can't get gelato, damn it, got me feeling fine. And I'm chasing off the devil, having speeded through the signs. Cali Pine, got money on my mind. Passing dimes, I'm really passing dimes. Through the grind, I'm cutting through the vines. Feeling fine, I'm ballin' overtime. Cali Pine, got money on my mind. Passing dimes, I'm really passing dimes. Through the grind, I'm cutting through the vines. Feeling fine, I'm ballin' overtime. Yeah. Ball so hard, like I'm living out in Paris. Gotta bounce, cause my last name just like Karis. Had to buy it now, cause that shit was looking bearish. Hold on to this shit, cause it's something you should cherish. In my mind, I'm catching all the signs. Over time, I'm always in my prime. And I got the Cali leaves every time you hit my line. And I'm smoking Cali trees, and it got me feeling fine. Cali Pine, got money on my mind. Passing dimes, I'm really passing dimes. Through the grind, I'm cutting through the vines. Feeling fine, I'm ballin' overtime. Cali Pine, got money on my mind. Passing dimes, I'm really passing dimes. Through the grind, I'm cutting through the vines. Feeling fine, I'm ballin' overtime. Yeah.
Yes, Kelly Smoking. Yes, all that.
Thank
I'm
you,
just
thank
I'm just give snaps. We love snaps. So for the intro, I believe that was a sample. How did like the producer come up with the sample? Did you come up with the sample? Did you find it from YouTube?
Yeah, so shout out to Eternal. He's the one who found the sample. And honestly, he don't even know where he got the sample. I asked him actually, because I was sitting there looking shocked whenever I heard it. And he gave me like 5 free beats out of his thing. And it was from a movie. That's all he knows. He said it was from a random movie. He was like, damn, this is hard. And he had heard the choir and was just like, I'm getting that. And so he found it, and then he just sampled that, and that was how that song came about. And you know, he gave me, like I said, he gave me that beat a while after he had made it, because I had just started going to the studio with him, and it was like I said, it was a great experience with him. He got me in there, and he taught me so much in such a short period of time.
So basically, it was like, I don't know where I got this beat from, but I think you'll sound great with it, and we're gonna record it, and we're gonna see how it goes. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So what he did was he took it. He heard the sample of it. He pitched it up a little bit, tossed the drums over it, his own drum kit, in his own drum loops that he made and stuff like that. And that was just how that song, like Kanye does it all the time. I love when Kanye does it. Like Famous has a great one. With Nina, is it
Nice.
Nina Simone?
Mhm.
Yeah. And so that's like a great, perfect example of, kind of like what happened with that.
So do you listen? Wow, excuse me. Do you listen to a lot of old artists like Nina Simone? I think you mentioned Sam Cooke and stuff. Or do you listen to today artists like Kanye West? And I think it was Drake you mentioned and stuff like that. Like, or is it like a mixture of both?
It's like a mixture of both. So like how I describe everything is like I'm I'm African American and Korean. So my
Mm,
grandparents, they met in the United States, but it was well after my granddad had been in the military, and he just enjoyed his soul Motown. That was a big thing on Sirius XM whenever I was a kid, and we were sitting there in the van, and I would hear Sirius XM on the radio, and it would be the R&B soul, station, and I was hearing the Supremes, Diana Ross, and SOS
yes.
Band, and
Yes.
everybody like that. And then I got a little bit older and I started listening once my parents got to the point where they couldn't control the music that I was listening to. I started listening to everything and I was like, oh, I really like rap music too. And then I was like, oh, and I just got a little bit more in touch with my history and myself. And I was like, oh, there's so many connections. They all kind of like come back and revolve back to the same place. So, you know, it's all a big circle, big cycle. Everybody kind of knows each other, and I think that's a cool part about music. Everybody really gets to know and learn and take notes from every other artist and build and use that as a resource, really.
Yeah, it is. So, in your family, is it is it always surrounded by music or other things as well?
It was pretty much sports growing up, and
Mm-hmm.
then a lot of, like I said, it was religion, very heavy in
Mm-hmm.
religion. And then on my dad's side, we had a whole bunch of people that played in music. So like his uncles played in a band, and my grandmother played the piano, and my
Oh
mother
wow.
played a little bit of the piano. And it's just like little things here and there that all were kind of like inspirations. And my brother, he used to be a rapper, so that was like a big thing that my parents were like, no, 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 you're not doing what he's doing because he's a bad influence on you, whatever the case is. And I just would hear him in his room playing the loudest music ever. It was bumping, it was cranking, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then he showed me his first song ever, and I was like, this is a really good song. I don't know why Gucci Mane don't sign you or something. Like Gucci Mane was his like inspiration. So,
Oh,
and I just kind of like took notes here and there as I grew up from all the people around me.
nice. So you mentioned about Kanye on multiple occasions throughout this interview. So I take it that Kanye has had like a really big, like I guess one of the artists that had a really big impact on you, from what I can see.
Um, I wouldn't say a huge impact. Like I said, I really enjoy Drake. Drake is one of my top artists of
Yes.
all time. Like I put it like this: there's not too many people that are just that diverse in terms of rapping and singing and doing it so well put together. And then Juice World would be a second. Michael Jackson is a third. And I don't care what anybody say about Michael Jackson because that's my dog. But in terms of Kanye, like I enjoy Kanye's catalog just because it was so different in terms of like production and sound and sonics. Like you get so much in terms of samples and new age drums that he used, that Kid Cudi would use, and everybody down the line just started slowly copying and mimicking to a certain degree, and it all kind of like came together. And everybody says like, oh, 808s and Heartbreak is the album. Da, da, da. For me, it was The Life of Pablo. It aged well with me, and I really liked that
Mhm.
album. And I was in high school, and it really hit me hard at that time. So I was like, oh, I really like this album, and I still listen to it to this day. But in terms of Kanye, like I haven't really done too much with his style or his type of production. I have an unreleased song that's kind of like his style and swagger. But yeah, he's still a big influence, though. I would say so to a certain.
Mhm.
he did
He was
his
about to
thing.
say to a certain degree, to a
Yeah.
certain extent.
Yeah, like he's got his own issues outside of the music
Yeah.
thing, and like it's so hard to just sit back and listen to him sometimes. But like if I'm just looking at what he put out on the table with the music, that's all I'm gonna talk about in terms of his other side. He's got a character, to say the very least. And like sometimes it's hard to control somebody like that. And it's his beautiful dark twisted fantasy. It's his own mind, it's his own, like what he writes in his songs is obviously how he lives. So
He's got a lot of things to fix, but we're gonna say that for another time. So you said that your favorite album from Kanye is The Life of Pablo.
yeah.
Yeah. So how did that album get you through high school?
It went along with a few different albums, Goodbye and Good Riddance, and there was another album that I really enjoyed. At the same time, it was If You're Reading This Is Too Late, which came out in 2015. The Life of Pablo came out in 2016, and
That's a good album.
um and those two albums really I sat back, I heard it on the radio everywhere. I couldn't go nowhere without hearing Know Yourself. And I was already a big Drake fan at that point. That was like the first rap artist that I ever listened to and like stuck with all the way up until even now. And Kanye was one of them people that I had always heard as a kid. And it was something about that album, that from like Waves and Wolves, and there's just so many songs on there that can bring, at least even if you're not even listening to the words. Sometimes I don't even listen to the words. I just listen to his production, and like it gives like a cinematic feel. It gives you something to like cry about, think about, or yell about. Like you want to yell in a dark room with a pillow whenever it's a rough day. You could do that with a Kanye song on. So it's like that was
You
kind of
like
how I felt
Kanye.
about it. And so I would listen to it every day on the bus whenever I go to school, and I would listen. Same thing for if you're reading this is too late. I love Jungle off of that album. So many different songs. Yeah,
Jungle, that song, that will always have a
yeah,
special place in my heart. Jungle will
yeah.
always have a special place in my heart. So, as an artist, what is one thing that you struggle to deal with?
Oh, um, I think more recently, as I've gotten more involved with being an artist, I would just say like I have a social battery, and I used to work two jobs, and
Mm,
I just quit at the beginning of this year in like February, my job at the mall. And like working with so many different people, like I would work at 9 to 5, and then I would get off, and then I would try and record and talk to people on the phone, da 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 da, da, because we're all separated. And I just like I get tired. I am like a extroverted person to a certain degree, but I'm also still like, if I could stay in my house all the time, I would stay in the house all the time. And that's kind of like the biggest, like I'm not the most out there person. I think that's going to be like a challenge for me to get around and finding so many different people, because it has been a challenge. Like even though I try and do it at the best that I can, it's still awkward for me to like reach out to certain people. I sit back with my ADHD and mistype a message 30 times
yeah.
before I'm really ready to even just think about sending it. So I think that'll probably be a big hump. And then I typically struggle. Writer's block is always a big thing, and it's easy to overcome to a certain degree because it just takes time and really going through life. Um, and you just sometimes you just need new subjects to talk about, and sometimes you just got to go through some stuff to just feel it. Because like sometimes you don't get that sensation the same way you do at other times with writer's block, or
Yeah.
even just with writing. And so I think the way that I've tried to overcome that is just learning even more music theory and learning chords and learning things like that. Because like I said, I'm not the chord person. I played singular notes on a staff every day, not like here's an E minor chord, da, 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 and I'm like struggling to pick out every single note because I'm not even remembering all of the sharps and flats and songs and stuff like that. So I think I've just
Listen.
tried to learn more music theory so that way I can be more creative on melodies and be more creative in harmonies and things like that to make a great hook that y'all like North Carolina. You know what I mean? And Mac,
Yes.
shout out to Mac 10 who did that hook again. He
Yes.
deserves that.
That's very true. Coming from a person who's studying music theory and stuff like that, I totally get what you're saying with the majors and the minor chords and stuff like that. It can get really hard sometimes and stuff. So
Yeah.
listen, I got you. I understand. So how do you deal with writer's block? What other ways do you try to pull yourself out of it, especially when it comes to writing a big album like this?
So how I've typically done stuff, like I said, is, I try and learn. And then outside of just, taking the time to go through YouTube videos and sit through all of the things that everybody typically doesn't sit through. And I'll watch like a hour long mix session from Chris Lord, excuse me. And that's just like a natural thing for me to do. And he's a great mixer, Carrie Underwood, stuff like that. And I'll sit back and be like, how can I make this song better without me even having to write to it? Because I think about the processes of mixing and mastering whenever I write songs now. And another way is, like I said, just taking some time back and going through life a little bit, because like life is, it has so many stories to tell. And there's like a never ending process of like life until obviously you reach an end. Everybody has an end, but like when you're in it, it feels, like you're just going day by day by day, and things happen throughout your days and time. And some days you recognize it, other days you don't. And somehow, whenever you hear a beat that you just really love, sometimes that's really all it takes. And you hear the beat that you love and you went through a couple of things over the past few days and you're like, I want to talk about this. Now I just got to formulate it and put it together into a song. So yeah, I think life is a good thing to like utilize and just like go through to like write, because sometimes it is difficult when you get stuck on the same subject. You get like it's hard to get out of the same subject area. It's hard to get into the, am I doing a different flow than I typically do? So yeah, it's just it's all a big process, and it's a lot to think about in my brain. And I have like a million things that go through my brain. And I try and like put it all together to make something happen.
Yes. So as far as that, song Homicide that came out sometime this year, I believe. We're gonna listen to that too, but we will talk about that after we hear this song as well. We're gonna hear it as well. We're gonna hear it as well. If it's not cute, then we're just gonna talk about it and they can catch it on your Instagram or whatever the case may be. So until that comes up, I guess it's not queued up or whatever the case may be. What is the meaning behind the song Homicide and the name itself?
So I wrote that song shortly after it was one of them songs that I had a day, and I sat back to myself and I thought about other people who aren't here, you know what I mean? And people like I had just heard some interesting news, family news, things like that, and I'm like, oh Lord, if I lose another person in the near future, you know, um, and so I wrote the song, and I had sat back, and homicide, it just it's something about like, death. It really does just catch you by surprise. I don't like to be the person that just like spooks people for death. Like everybody got to go through it at some point. But
Yeah.
like it is one of them things that nobody ever knows. And growing up is, like I said, in the church and stuff like that. Like, they would always they would give you their spiel on different things. Like there was a scripture that I remember as a kid that they said that Jesus Christ would come through like a thief in the night or something like that for Armageddon or something, and he would save the world from all of the bad people. And so it's like at that point, save the world from all the bad people means somebody gonna die. And so it's coming at you like a thief in the night. So it's like, which catches you by surprise. And so, and shout out to Pop Smoke. That's another one, that was literally a homicide. It was like, oh damn. And it was sad to see Pop Smoke go too. So.
Yeah. A lot of people was affected by Pop Smoke and his death. A lot of
Yeah.
people was. I know I was. I know I was. So, do you think Homicide was more like a personal song that you like thought about putting out, or you was like, this got to be put out there because this is how I'm feeling?
It was a very personal song. And I had originally did the song, and I didn't really know. I didn't have the words to finish it. You know what I mean? I kind of listened to it. I was like, like I really like the song as it is, and I don't think I should cut the beat short. So like, who can I get on it? So I got a kid named Burst Push. He's one of my good friends from high school. And he actually had LaRon Land too as a teacher. And he lives in Kansas now. And I had him get on a song. And it was one of them things that I sent to one of our old high school friends, and he sat back and was like, "This is a great song. You got to do something with this." And I was like, "All right, we'll see." And like, like I try and be a little conscious of like things that I say and put out, but that was one of them songs that like I had enough people that were like, "Oh, this sounds like the little Peep Juice World feature that we never got." So I was like, cool. Like I guess that's like a compliment because that's one of my favorite artists. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do it for the people that enjoy it. And I've always been self-conscious about putting my music out, but
Oh, okay. Well, we got the song of now. Thank you to my team and stuff like that. So we're gonna listen to Homicide right now, you guys. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Jimmy on the beat, boy. Down the side, down the side. Yeah, just when you got it, they fly to the highlights. Do or die, do or die. She caught me by surprise, like a homicide. Down the side, down the side. Yeah, just when you got it, they fly to the highlights. Do or die, do or die. She caught me by surprise, like a homicide. Miss me with them bright lights. Mail on the fields when you're left out in the twilight. Running from the limelight. Captain of my mission, yeah, I'm putting up a good fight. Every day I'm ballin', putting out shots, I'm ballin'. Fuck is you, fucking that shit, you better stop shot calling. I'm alive in a minute, got some business, I ain't finished. Death is gonna have a witness, I can die, I'm out of trenches. Out the trenches, yeah, I slept on benches. Now I got some bitches who put me on a hit list. They turn the story back around. Yeah, they wanna take me down, down, down. Down the side, down the side. Yeah, just when you got it, they fly to the highlights. Do or die, do or die. She caught me by surprise, like a homicide. Down the side, down the side. Yeah, just when you got it, they fly to the highlights. Do or die, do or die. She caught me by surprise, like a homicide. I like to thank my family and my friends. I'll be the first to admit that this shit hurt now and then. Shout out to all my dear homies. Not everybody gets a ticket to make it this far. I remember waking up to text, faking it at school like she wasn't dead. I'm just surprised I didn't see it coming. And if I ran it back, she'd have thought it funny. I just hope that they miss me when I'm gone, the way that I miss them. I just hope that they listen to my songs, the way that I wrote them. Down inside, down inside. Yeah, just when you got it, they fly to the highlights. Do or die, do or die. She caught me by surprise, like a homicide. Down inside, down inside. Yeah, just when you got it, they fly to the highlights. Do or die, do or die. She caught me by surprise, like a homicide.
There we go. I'm gonna mute it. I think you got unmute yourself too. There we go. There we go. I really do like that song.
Thank you,
Kudos
thank
to
you.
you. I love that. I love that. So just a little personal questions or whatever about your artistry and stuff like that as well. When you create music, what is your personal purpose or gain?
My personal purpose or gain with music. I literally just enjoy music so much. I think that's like an understatement. My mom, this would be like a perfect example to describe. My mom used to tell me that like she would tell me to be quiet because like I'd be in the shower and she'd be like, "You're chanting." Like chanting is the only word I can use to describe like how much you sing music, because I would literally try and memorize every single lyric, every single word, every single melody, that type of thing. And I get just like a huge satisfaction out of just like making the music itself. And then on top of that, the purpose or goal would be, um, just to uh, reach people and hopefully they feel something, you know? Like that's
Yes.
one of those things that like I remember when Isla had told me, she was like, "You ever listen to a song and get the chills? That's like what you should try to aspire to do every time." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's like the
Okay.
perfect way of describing it, you know?" And so like I want to give people something to feel whenever they listen to a song. It's something that entertains them. It's something that can keep their attention span for 2, 3, 4 minutes and make sure that they uh whatever they're going through, they can relate to it, and whatever they may be feeling at the time, uh it can help them get over it, whatever the case is, help them get
Okay.
through it. So
Yeah. So do you see that your girlfriend, well, I see that your girlfriend is a really big inspiration to your music life, your personal life, all of that. So how much has she inspired you when it came down to doing music?
a lot. Like I said, I met her a little bit ago, and it was one of those things that like she came in and she was supportive. I've had girlfriends in the past that was just like, rapper, SoundCloud rapper. And so, she was just different, she didn't really have none of that attitude or like issues that like other girls had brought to me in the past. And so like this girlfriend that I have, she's different because she really does help me focus and aspire to be what I want to be. You know what I mean? She doesn't ever tell me that I can't do anything. And that's like one of those things that uh I feel like I had somebody kind of doing that my entire life. It was like, "Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that." And to just have someone be like, "Keep doing what you're doing. Like if you love doing it, keep doing what you're doing." It keeps me going every single day. Like seriously, if I get down and tired, like she's one of them people that's like, "It's okay. Like you'll figure it out." So, you know.
Right. So how do you deal with people who tend to be negative in your life? Because we all have that.
Um how I tend. So I do a couple of things. I'm one of them type of people that, if I'm not really feeling someone and I'm not feeling the negative energy, I'm one of those people that'll just drop you like a hot cake. I hate to be that person, but like if you giving me some negative energy, and I'm typically everlasting chances are in my book. Because everybody makes mistakes in life, but if you coming around with that fake energy, that fake vibe, like I can't do it with you, and like
Mm-hmm.
I'll know because I didn't have people, do it to me. I had family members do it my entire life, and I wasn't, I was just watching in the background. You know what I mean? I kind of just learned tendencies that people have to a certain degree, and I wanted to hone in myself at least. Like if I'm gonna have people around me, give everybody the benefit of the doubt and the best opportunity, and if they come with something else, and it's got to be really disrespectful. I really try, like I really don't think I have any issues with too many people. And so like it's really got to be something out of the way for me to do something about it. And like I just breathe and just laugh it off, you know
Yeah.
not
Because
say nothing bad.
right, because some stuff is not even worth it
Yeah.
nowadays. It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
So right, like What? Anyways, if you were to go back talking to you, if you were to go back and see your younger self, what advice would you give?
What advice would I give to my younger self? Stay in school. Everybody says that, but seriously, like stay in school, stay in college. I went back to my high school and said it to all the kids that were graduating the next year, and I still know kids that were like good friends of mine that still didn't stay in school. And I feel like just like their adult role model that just was like, oh, not school. So stay in school. Uh, stay away from all the extraness. Like there's so many opportunities in life, and like if you're doing, things like just say drugs and stuff like that, kids stay away from drugs. That's what I'll tell my younger self. And just be happy no matter what. Like I've always kind of went about this life of, you know there's something else afterwards. And then I kind of got older and I was like, I don't really know if there is. And so I was like, why not just be happy and live in the moment and do what you want to do while you're here, so
Right.
and just kind of like get in and have fun with your life, because in my opinion, at least now, my brain tells me that it's like, all right, like you get one opportunity and this is like you're having your paradise and you get to make what you want of it, because
This is very true.
So
Yep. We got one more question for you. And the question is, what advice would you give to other people who's walking in your footsteps as an artist?
as an artist, oh, that's a fun thing, because I'm about to start doing a couple of little master classes. So anybody that wants to learn how to mix, anything like that,
I got somebody.
And I'll like, I learned it such a short period ago, but once I learned it, it was like just an easy process. And then so learn how to mix, kids. It'll save your life. You can, like, I don't advise people ripping beats off of YouTube. Pay for your beats. But if you do have your own mic and your own laptop and you don't know how to mix, you're gonna sound rough. So learn how to mix. Take your time. Like patience is a virtue in my mind. Like I still, like I've only been at this for a year, but like I don't see myself giving up on it. And because like I've been doing something, like I've been making music for a really long time. You know what I mean? So just be patient, because a lot of these things, I'm 21 now, and 19 or 18, I still, in my mind, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, like I'm one and done. Like Lil Mosey, 17, 16, so-and-so, 15, 14, like I'm 21, and 21 Savage didn't even pop out till he was 26. So it's like,
26.
Wow.
Wow.
Like some people are up there in age before they really, make that mainstream, whatever people are really aspiring to be. So it's like, just take your time. Like you got to find and connect with people. That's the last thing I would say. The last thing I would say is connect and find people to work with, because there's so many people, so many talented creators and artists in this world, yourself included. This is a form of art, that what you do for people to listen to. It really is, because some people listen to podcasts and go to bed, and that's harsh for me. Like I don't get too many people listening to my music before they go to bed. So like, meet people, connect with people. That's how I got 10, 12 people coming to do a show on on the side of a street, so that way people can listen. That's how you meet people that do your cover art. That's how you meet people that mix your songs and help you with promotion and do all of that stuff. So like, you just got to reach out, branch out, connect. And even if you're shy, it's okay. Most people aren't going to bite. You know what I mean? Like if they're in this, and most people ain't going to bite you. They may have, two-sidedness or whatever, but most people are trying to really help you. And they want to see you succeed, because most people in this stuff that make music, they know it's not about the money. You know what I mean? It's hard to make money in music. It's like doing art. Any form of visual art is hard. So like, it's one of them things, like take it for what it is and enjoy it, and connect with people and have fun. That's main things I could tell, kids that are going down my path.
Yes, dropping gems. You done dropped a lot of gems tonight. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you for tuning in to Rhythm and Muse podcast with me, yours truly. Thank you, Real AF, for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. If you have not, look at his new album, stream it while we're here. Look at and stream his new song, Homicide. You could catch this podcast if you have not. You know, I'm watching you. I'm watching who you guys are. You can stream, you can stream it on Charm City Direct TV. You can look at the audio on rhythmandmusepodcast.com. Stay tuned for next Friday. I got another guest coming. But until then, I will see you guys later. Bye. Goodbye.
Thank you for watching another great live broadcast on Charm City Direct TV. Make sure you head on over to YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitter for more great content on Charm City Direct TV. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow everything Charm City Direct TV.